The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, August 12, 2024 is called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs. Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock.
Here.
Councilmember Jurenski.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Murillo.
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Savanik.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give our city council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of the community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for Carla Lewis!
Land acknowledgement. The city of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Announcement of the public call-in line.
City Council welcomes feedback from the public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a la opinión de sus habitantes y otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes en la agenda y durante la invitación a la audiencia. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación al español. Por favor, háganos saber si usted necesita este servicio. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia mientras se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y espere la invitación para comentario público. Gracias.
Executive session update. During the executive session, we discussed personnel matters. Next item is the approval of the minutes from July 22nd, 2024.
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes.
Moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen to approve the minutes of July 22nd, 2024. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the approval of the minutes from July 22nd, 2024.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Murillo.
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt the minutes of the July 22nd, 2024 City Council meeting.
Decorum announcement. Council has created a public forum and wants to receive citizen input. You were asked to follow the same rules that council follows, including no attacks of a personal nature or causing a disturbance. we would ask you to refrain from using profanity, as children may be watching. As mayor, I have been asked by council to admonish speakers for noncompliance. Please respect those who are speaking. Whether you agree with the content or not, outbursts from anyone are not permitted. Please refrain from clapping, snapping, cheering, or booing to allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Council shall be given opportunity to address city staff, to exchange contact information when the speaker is at the podium. Council may clarify statements related to any speaker's comments at the conclusion of public invited to be heard, but shall not enter into debate with speakers. Public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour total, and each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Those who speak longer than 3 minutes are limiting the ability of those scheduled behind them to speak. Please keep your fellow citizens in mind when planning your comments by limiting your comments to 3 minutes. If there is a disruption of the meeting by those choosing to not follow these rules of decorum, council may briefly recess the meeting or move the meeting out of council chambers to another location. Finally, as mayor, I will ask my colleagues to join me in extending public invited to be heard by a reasonable amount of time if all speakers follow these rules of decorum, including the limit of 3 minutes per speaker. If these rules are not followed, I will not support extending public invited to be heard. Public invited to be heard. Councilmember Murillo.
Can I just ask the city clerk how many folks are signed up for public invited to be heard, both in person and on the phone?
23.
23. Mayor, did you make a motion to extend public invited to be heard?
No, I didn't. I think what I said was if decorum rules are followed, then I'll support extending the time to allow other people to speak. But if they're not, then we'll limit it to 1 hour.
So if I...
I will not support extending it.
Okay. So if I made a request now to allow all 23 speakers, would you be in support of that?
No.
Okay. You want to wait until the hour is done and then proceed?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Public invited to be heard.
Aaron Marypole.
Hello, Mayor, council members. My name is Aaron Marypole. I'm the president of Urban Land Conservancy. We're a nonprofit real estate company that's been working here in Aurora for over a decade. We support schools, nonprofits, and affordable housing. Since 2021, we have owned the Colfax Lab for Social Good at Colfax and Ironton in Ward 1. At Colfax Lab, 3 beloved local nonprofits lease affordable office space so that they may best serve residents of the immediate community in person every day. Sadly, at Colfax and Ironton, we saw a very violent crime take place on August 1st. 4 people were shot, 1 person was killed. This happened in front of a number of staff that were in the office. CBS 4 reported that Aurora's new safety plan for Havana and Colfax, which is just 2 blocks away from our site, would have a new program and effort to really support and address some of the real safety concerns in the community. We're urging you, the police department, to dedicate more staff time, city resources, although limited, I understand, to this corridor, including both law enforcement and human services. Because the safety of our office tenants and their employees and clients is paramount, we are forced to bolster and do things for safety. For example, we're installing new fencing, lighting, repairing broken windows, hiring security firms. Because we're a nonprofit and because our partners in Colfax Lab are nonprofits, we're supporting the community in ways that, quite frankly, other folks can't. And we really do need your support as we move forward in addressing these concerns. I believe in this community. I've worked here, as I said, for a number of years. It means a lot that we bring a sense of safety and hope for the folks that, not just my staff, not just the tenants that are in there, but for the surrounding community. And so we hope to be a part of this neighborhood for generations to come. And we hope that you, in giving this matter immediate attention. Thank you for your service and time.
Please forward me his contact information.
Okay. Robbie DeYoung.
Mayor, council, audience. In the last 2 weeks, I have called in 3 separate abandoned vehicles, 2 of which had to be towed off with a tow truck because there was no way they were going to drive anywhere at any time. I reported 2 stolen vehicles during the last 2 weeks, and I don't even work for the city. And I'm reporting these. I'm getting calls and text messages from people that are a part of my group about where to find stolen vehicles and where to find abandoned vehicles. I've got a whole group of over 2,000 people that are working with me to try and resolve this issue. 4 teenagers this weekend stole a Kia from off Mexico Avenue. They took that Kia. The owner was smart enough to have a tracking device in their car. And they tracked the vehicle as to where it was and was notifying the police as to where it was. The car ended up in Aurora, then it went to Denver, then it went to Green Valley Ranch, and then back into Aurora. That's where the police picked up the chase, so to speak. Well, it was definitely a chase. And there were 4 teenagers in that car. All 4 teenagers had illegal firearms. They opened up fire on the police when they were trying to stop them. And then the police backed off. The teenagers took off. They were able to find them again a little later. And they did a pit maneuver, and they stopped the stolen Kia. There were over 20 shots fired, and none of them by the police. But there were teenagers with handguns, and one of them was even thrown out on the street. We need to do something about stolen vehicles. We need to do something about teenagers, anyone having an illegal firearm. That being said, I don't want my freedom of speech taken from me. I don't want my ability to have a firearm in my home and on my possession. I do not want the city to take my pit bull. I love my pit bull. And I don't want some stranger taking my car. And I would like the support of the city of Aurora in making those things happen.
Ayante Anderson.
The People's City Council meeting has now come to order. We have no intention to disrupt your meeting. We actually don't like disrupting your meetings. We have no intention to send you in retreat. Dustin, I'll wait for you to pay attention. Thank you. We just simply want to make sure that we have a forum to be heard by the elected council of Aurora, Colorado, and mayor. But we've addressed you for the last 2.5 months. We've given you asks that you've now said and that are unreasonable, that council does not have the ability to fire an individual officer. But you do employ somebody who is the supervisor or who is over the chief of police. Jason, as the city manager, you have power to do things that this council has said that they don't have the opportunity to do. For 81 days, 81, this family of Kylan Lewis has simply just asked for answers about an investigation. I don't think it's a hard ask for you or for the council to provide an update to the family about where the investigation is at. Are we in the closing stages? Are we still in a full-on open investigation? They deserve answers about what's happened to their loved one. This family is grieving. Why all of you get to have Thanksgiving dinner with your family, open up Christmas presents with your kids, Kylan's children won't ever have that opportunity again. They'll never get to have Christmas again. Those children never get to have a back-to-school day with their dad again. They don't get to have Easter dinner. They don't get to celebrate the 4th of July or the Olympics or Juneteenth because their father was taken from them by somebody representing the city of Aurora. So we simply just want you to get us some answers. That's it. Have compassion. You don't have to worry about us coming to your town halls. Please, we want you to engage with your constituents because your constituents also have these questions that deserve to be answered. We just simply want answers. That's it. If it was your child, your loved one that was taken from us, you would want those answers too. And 81 days, I believe you can agree, is a little bit too long. The family of Sonia Massey, she was murdered on July 6th in Springfield, Illinois. Her killer has been terminated, incarcerated, and is going through the process of having his due process, but he's going through those criminal charges. President Biden, Vice President Harris, the governors have all issued those statements. We just want to make sure that the family gets some answers.
Midian Holmes.
Procrastination is not justification for lack of restoration. 81 days later, why aren't you grieving with us? 81 days later, why haven't you sanctioned community to come and speak to you so you could listen to what is happening in the pain of community? 81 days later. Jason, I've talked to and addressed all of them, so now I'm talking to you. 81 days. Sir, that is not an investigation. That is a bona fide way of trying to figure out how to create a narrative to justify a murder in the street. I could understand why we're at 81 days if that's what we're doing. If that's the initiative to try to come up with a way to figure out how can we justify the murder of this man that was compliant, that was yielding and had no weapon, I can see why 81 days later we are still here. In 81 more days, Jason, they're still not going to have justification. Because procrastination is not justification for lack of restoration. For everybody under the sound of my voice, and I invite you as well, council, if you think Kylan Lewis should be alive, stand to your feet.
Thank you, council.
It has been 81 days. And allow me to note, hold on, y'all. Allow me to note, Mayor Mike Kaufman, you are not standing on your feet. Jason, you are not standing on your feet. Whatever your name is, city attorney, you're not standing on your feet. The three of you are the reflection of the reason why lynching continues to happen in our street. We are not ignorant to this process, sir. We are very much informed. We are organized and we are humane. You're missing at the party, sir. It's been 81 days, and your staff can't figure out how to justify this murder. And I can assure you they never will, sir.
Kiowa Lewis.
"81 days." I think about it every single time that it's been 81 days that I have to see my brother screaming out, "I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing," and being shot. And I see this edited version of what's been administered to us. And yet, I don't think the ones who didn't stand up get it. Your wife, your child, your grandchildren. Just imagine if I was the officer. Just imagine if I was the officer and I killed one of your loved ones and got paid leave for 81 days. I'm not even going to ask you how that make you feel. But just imagine having nightmares every single night, seeing your brother, the one you grew up with, the one that you've done everything with through your lifetime of being here. I'm 38, he's 37, we're only a year apart. Being taken by the people that protect us, the people that I embrace, even when we're in public, I still embrace officers because y'all are more than with this, they are more than this title that they get. They are still human beings, right? But I'm just trying to get you to understand, for those who did not stand up, just imagine, just close your eyes when you go to bed tonight and just remember my voice of your loved one screaming out, "I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing," while he's kneeling down with his hands in the air and he gets shot. I have to deal not just with my emotions, but even my mother. Seeing my mom cry, that angers me more than anything in the world. But being a follower of the Most High, I have to permit forgiveness for the ones who don't understand. I appreciate the ones who stood up, who said that my brother should still be alive. The ones who don't stand up, you let us know whose side you're on. And just know that we all have to face judgment someday. We do. And the thing is, the judgment that you're going to face is way worse than any human could ever do to you, period. Like, there is nothing that can come close to what the Most High has for you. I'm going to say, repent, turn from your wicked ways, follow God, stand with righteousness. Come with us as we stand up to get Officer Deke taken care of off the force and start feeling things. You know what? Thank you, y'all.
Robert Lewis. Robert Lewis.
For those that stood, I just want to say thank you. For those that didn't, y'all's day in hell will come soon. This is ridiculous. 81 days of your little messed up investigation to play off some murder that you let happen. But you let the person that does it happen just to keep living his life, and that's not right at all. You know, I don't have many words to say to you, but I just pray for the ones that didn't stand up, because your day in hell is coming soon. And I don't need 3 minutes to tell you anymore.
Gina Simeon.
Good evening. I want to let you know, for one, I'm Kylie Lewis's aunt. I am not a terrorist. But what I am is I've been in the medical field for 24 years serving my community. I hold a degree in criminal justice with applied science. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother of 2 boys. I am, just hoping that you can hear what I'm saying, because screaming at you, yelling at you is not going to get the point across. I'm also an aunt. I have 3 children of my own. This has been 81 days of suffering, purity suffering. To have family gatherings and not see him walk through the door, it's a tough one for us. It always ends in tears for us, because we miss him so very much. So very much. And I can't make that any clearer than that. This officer didn't have a right to take his life. He didn't give him a chance to even say who he was or identify himself. But yet we buried him. We were at the hospitals with tubes all in his body, praying over him, hoping, God, just spare him. Just spare him. And we didn't get that. All we want is justice for him, and for him to rest at peace, truly rest at peace, because he's not at peace. We're not at peace. We will never get a chance to hug him, to love on him. We do have his children, but what story would you tell a child about their father being killed by the police? We have children in our family who are scared of the police now. There's no faith there. And these are children. When I grew up, there were kids who wanted to be a fireman or a policeman. What do you tell a child about their father being gunned down with nothing in his hands but a Kleenex and a phone? You can be murdered for a phone. We think about this every day of our life. There's not one day I don't think about my nephew and what he suffered and what we had to go through in that hospital, and rushing, getting off work, going down there just to see if he was still alive. We're just asking for help. I got in the medical field because I wanted to help people. I've done it for 24 years. Help us. Help the family. He does not deserve to be at home, because we don't have a loved one that's not at home, won't return home, and we'll never see him again. Truly find in your heart to help. That's what you got these jobs for, to help the community, help the people. So help us.
Magdalena Lewis.
Hi. So 81 days is not only disrespectful and hurtful, it's not legal. You're required to release the unedited footage within 30 days of the incident. Where is that? That is one of our demands. APD has been terrorizing the citizens of this city for decades, and I wonder, when is it finally going to be enough? Speaking of legality, you're under a consent decree right now because of the murder of Elijah McClain by APD. But that wasn't enough. Last year, you killed a 14-year-old, Jordell Richardson. We came back here. That wasn't enough. And now, most of y'all stood up that he shouldn't be dead, but what are you gonna do about it? What's the action that you're gonna take? Because I don't see anything. There's blood on your hands. I also want to mention that this same police department last week sent over 50 officers to illegally evict over 54 families with dozens of children on the first day of school. So you've got a 1-to-1 ratio cop to family. That sounds about right. No notice. You tried to evict them within 24 hours. The community pushed back, gave them a few more days. We asked for something. I mean, a lot of these people paid rent. It's unconscionable. Do something.
Andre Lewis. Andre Lewis. Andres, thank you. Andres Lewis.
I am Andres Lewis, Kylan's wife. And then everybody keeps saying 81 days. You guys could never understand how I feel when I can't do anything for my baby. Y'all would never understand that. But you guys could go home to your wives, kids, husbands, and mine is gone because of one of you guys' people. And I can't do anything because he's at home on vacation. You guys are paying his rent, and my baby's gone. Do you know how that feels? Of course you guys don't, because it's a joke to you guys. And it's like, what harm is it going to do to you guys to go have him go get him? All the other states are. What's wrong with you guys doing that? At least do something good for Aurora. You guys have a bad reputation. At least start there. Do something. At least start that. Every day I have to think, I wake up and I'm like, it's not a dream, because it's not a dream. And I have to think about that this man who murdered my baby is at home. Why? Why can't you guys at least start there? But it's okay, because he has me as a wife. I'm a rider, and I'm coming hard, and I will not stop. You guys will see this face every time, because I will not stop for Kylan. And I'm coming for y'all and Denver, and I will not stop till the day I die. Michael will be gone. So good luck, because you guys should be very nervous. I'm coming for y'all.
Reagan Crawford.
Hello, I'm Reagan Crawford. I'm a Denver City resident. I'm here to support Kylan Lewis and the Aurora community. Mr. Kaufman, as I understand it, you campaigned on a tough on crime approach. You advocated for decreasing crime rates on your website, mayormikekaufman.com. The very first campaign issue you've listed is crime. The very first sentence under crime states every resident in the city of Aurora has the right to live without fear of being a victim of crime. You restated this to the Denver Post upon being elected as mayor this past November. So I'm confused why you're not more outraged by the murder of Kylan Lewis. Kylan was killed by Officer Michael Deek of the Aurora City Police Department, and in the limited body cam footage that has been released, it's evident he didn't pose a threat to Officer Deek. It's evident he was complying with orders. It's clear to anyone that watches the body cam footage that Kylan was the victim of a crime. And not just Kylan, but his family as well. So why aren't you doing more? Why are you not more outraged that a community member was murdered? Isn't decreasing crime your #1 issue? Why aren't you doing more to demand justice for a member of your community? Not only you're not doing anything, but you've allowed fellow city council members to call a grieving family and a grieving community terrorist. And Stephanie Hancock, it does not matter that you did not specifically name anybody. That was an abhorrent statement, and I don't know why you would disrespect your community like that. Mr. Kaufman, as mayor, I'm sure you're aware that you're supposed to be the bridge between this community and justice. And if you really care about the issues you campaigned on, I demand that you pressure the district attorney, John Kellner, to press charges against Officer Michael Deek for homicide. I demand that you pressure the Aurora City Police Department to fire Officer Michael Deek and to give the family of Kylan Lewis an update on the police investigation. I demand that they release the full body cam footage. You clearly have influence over the police department. You have over a dozen police officers show up here to intimidate or try to intimidate a grieving community who's just asking for justice. Officer Deek has not protected this community from being victims of a crime. Right now, you're not doing that either. 81 days is too long, and I demand that you uphold the values that you campaigned on.
Laura Gonzalez. Laura Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. I actually was trying to prepare a speech, but based on what I saw, my first time in Aurora City Council coming from Boulder, I just want to say to the city manager, Jason Batchelor, Mike Kaufman, and city attorney here that you could have at least performed allyship. You had an opportunity, and you didn't even do that. So that just shows like your inner white supremacist ideology that you have in you. And you, Stephanie Hancock, you are the living proof of what Professor Camilla Pfeiffer said. Black faces in high places will not save us. Again, my name is Laura Gonzalez. I identify as a Maya Mopana Nitsa indigenous woman. I am here to speak directly to City Manager Jason Batchelor because you are the one who can actually take actions. I am here to speak on behalf of myself and the legacy of my indigenous ancestors who survived and did in our own settler colonial genocide, which still continues today through many white supremacist systems, and one of them is the police force. But today, I am here to specifically address the police institution that murders my people and our black siblings at genocidal rates since 500 years ago. I am here to stand in solidarity with the family and community of Kylan Lewis because it is 81 days that he was brutally murdered by one of your officers and is getting paid with hard-working tax dollars. I don't even want to mention his name. We know his name. But I am here to demand not only that the city attorney prosecutes him for first-degree murder, but also to make sure that he pays back every single dime that has been given to him since 81 days ago. I am also here to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people who are undergoing a genocide for the 310th day with the tax dollars that you give. From this city alone, you send $5 million alone to the settler colonial state of Israel to kill our Palestinian indigenous siblings. And how dare you do an indigenous land acknowledgement when you don't even care about any indigenous people here? I am also here to share my disappointment and disgust of the negligence the city has put in a migrant apartment building at 1568 Nome Street, where you and your puppet police minions are planning to evict 50+ families at 7 a.m. tomorrow. You know what you can do with those $5 million? At least you could afford 600 of those households. We only need 50. Let me tell you why all of this is important and connected. The same systems of segregation that we see today, even though it's illegal is the same apartheid system that is imposed by the settler colonial state of Israel. The guns and trainings that is first tested in Palestinians by the Israeli occupation forces, which you support with $5 million, our cops here, the Aurora cops, including here, are used to murder our black and indigenous siblings to sustain the settler colonial state of what is known as the United States. And that's why you're afraid to stand up for Palestine, because you know you're next. The same disregard that is given to the Palestinian women who are dying at high rates in Gaza is the same disregard that is given to my black sisters who die at a higher rate in the US. We are the #1 developed country in the world with the highest rate for birth and mortality, where black sisters are suffering the most. No justice, no peace.
Giannina Horton. Giannina Horton. Brandon Gerke.
It's been 81 days since the death of Kylan Lewis at the hands of Officer Deke. And every time we come back here, you tell us you don't have the power to do anything. And we're tired of hearing that. It's not going to be 100 days. It's not going to be 200 days. We demand justice now. And the family has fought every step of the way to achieve justice. You guys are supposed to release the unedited body cam footage after a month. It has been 81 days. And the family has to file a lawsuit for something that they're supposed to have already. And it is clear that the city council in this city has no effort and has made no effort to deal with these abusive police officers. Officer Deke alone has had multiple instances of abuse. When he pulled over Teddy Pittman in 2020 and ordered him to lay flat on the ground at gunpoint as he was left handcuffed, he was racially profiled by Officer Deke. In another instance, Officer Deke had Maurice Vinson with his gun and threatened to kill him. He then tasered him. Multiple instances of the same police officer abusing our community, and yet the city has done nothing to get rid of him. It is obvious that the city should not be in power of dealing with these corrupt and abusive police officers that terrorize our city. The people that should be in power to fire and arrest these officers is the community. And as a member of Denver Aurora Community Action, we demand for community power over the police and for a Civilian Police Accountability Council. A council that is able to, an elected council of the community that is able to investigate police misconduct, that is able to fire and able to fire these police officers. This is something that has been worked towards in Chicago, and as we have seen with Sonia Massey, where there has been strides made to hold these police officers accountable when something happens. Why can't we do the same here, where we have a system that is able to hold these police officers accountable? And earlier today, we had a call-in at the DA's office that refused to give us the light of day and refused to press charges on Officer Deke. We demand that the DA press charges, murder charges on Officer Deke. We demand accountability for Kylan Lewis, and we demand justice for Kylan Lewis.
Preston Nunn.
He's not going to speak.
Okay. Alberta Simmons.
Given out of the God, I'm here in support of Preston Nunn III. We've been here almost 3 months talking to the city council. I come to find out the city council can't do a damn thing to help us. We get that. But I'm trying to tell you all this, though. The Aurora police think they are God. They think that black people need to obey them like we obey God. The only problem with that is when Preston Nunn III obeyed Officer Nestor, he was tackled to the ground. They bust his head to the white meat of his head, as you can see right here. They tasered him 5 times. Hey, Stephanie. They tasered him 5 times while he was hogtied. The white female officer came over and put her foot on his neck. She did the George Floyd move, only she didn't keep it down very long. The heavy-set, husky white police officer came over and he did the karate hold. He choked it. Well, we know that the karate hold is banned in the state of Colorado and banned by the Aurora Police Department. And then Officer Nestor, who was the aggressor, he said, I should have shot you. Well, wait a minute now. I should have shot you? Well, I thank God, the God that I serve, and Preston is a God-fearing man, the God that he serves, that they didn't shoot him. I'm glad we're able to tell our story on September 23rd, when we go to trial. We are going to tell our story. And I know that there's 2.5 million people that looks at this podcast every other Monday. I'm appealing to those 2.5 million people to think, what if this was your child? What if this was your loved one? What would you do then? So I don't have time to be up here cussing out y'all and all that. I already know y'all ain't gonna do nothing, but I'm appealing to that 2.5 million that's listening to us every 2 months. And again, I thank God for the opportunity to be fighting for Preston. We're gonna fight, fight, fight. September 23rd.
Eric Shanholzer.
If I'd have known there was 2.5 million people watching, I'd have dressed nicer today. Good evening. I stand before you today to talk about the police. There are people who believe that police are evil. All of the police are evil, not just a few bad eggs. They believe police forces should not exist. They even believe that the presence of police forces cause crimes, especially in schools. Luckily, these people are the lunatic fringe, thank goodness. The rest of us know that the police have an almost impossible job. They know they might not go home at the end of the day just because they wear a blue shirt and a badge. They also know that every decision they make will be scrutinized, watched, even videotaped, with the video being edited to show the officers in the worst light possible. It's a sad state of affairs, but you can help them even more than you already do. First and foremost, the Aurora Police Department needs a permanent chief, which we have not had since the one with the really bad tasting girlfriends. And the search needs to be public, not just transparent. The citizens of this great city need to have the confidence that everything that can be done is being done. The economy is driving crime rates up, as it always does. Although you can't do a lot about the economy, you and the police department are stuck dealing with the crime. You and your citizens stand in the lurch. I yield back the balance of my time.
Alexandria Wise.
Good evening. My name is Alex Wise. I'm the Executive Director of SEDS Finance. We've been an organization in existence for 13 years. We are a nonprofit, mission-driven lender, and we support the American dream of financial self-sufficiency. Over this time, we've deployed $13 million. Half of that, about 6.6, soon to be about $7 million, has gone to Aurora-based businesses. 85% of our Aurora-based businesses are Black and brown residents that are talented, hardworking, and are trying to achieve their own dream of their own American dream of financial self-sufficiency. We've been in Aurora for about 13 years. The first building we were in at Havana in Florida had a shooting. My staff walked across the dead body, or walked up to the dead body without knowing what was happening. On August 1st, we had a 4-person shooting outside of our building. We are in the Colfax Lab for Social Good. About 3 to 4 months ago, there was the Walmart at Colfax in Havana closed, the Dollar Tree closed, and the bus stops at Aurora and Havana were cleaned up. And it was incredibly different on my drive to and from work, seeing that change, which I applauded. The consequence of that is the drugs, the vandalism, the shootings, and what we believe gangs have now spread throughout the neighborhood. We're 2 blocks east of that intersection. You know, I have a staff of 16 people, 17 including me. I've got to keep them safe to uphold our mission and our economic, our kind of mission of economic mobility and of really empowering local Aurora citizens to be the best of themselves to run their own businesses here locally. You know, we've had 3 rocks thrown at our building, breaking 3 windows in 3 weeks. We've had public fornication. We've had a huge uptick in heavy drug use. And our clients are now reporting that they're apprehensive to come to our office and have requested off-site visits. I urge City Council and the Police Department to dedicate more time and resources to the Colfax corridor. It's not an easy corridor. Obviously, the local crime, both on the Denver and Aurora side, is getting worse, unfortunately. But anything you can do to kind of help us achieve our mission to support Aurora and its residents would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Kirk Manzanares.
Please give me Katie, her contact information.
Okay. Kirk Manzanares.
Good evening, Aurora City Council. Good evening, Aurora residents. I want to tell a quick story. I had the opportunity to spend time with the previous mayor, Mayor Hogan, a few years back, and his wife on a really good day that I'll never forget that day. And I got to listen to him about his dreams and his aspirations for Aurora. And he always bragged about that we are the most culturally diverse city in the world. We have more ethnicities in this city than anywhere else in the world. And it is a beautiful city. And it is a great place to live. I've lived here all my life except for a couple of times that I moved away. and I moved back. And I love this city. I think it's a beautiful city to live in. We have an annual budget of over $500 million that you guys get to spend and work with to make Aurora a good city. I got to listen to Becky and to Steve, and they talked about how proud they were to be of service to Aurora, but Aurora has problems. Aurora has a crime rate that is out of control. Aurora has things going on in Aurora that shouldn't be going on, and the city council and the citizens of Aurora need to come together as one and solve these problems. It can't just be their fault. It's not just their fault. We have to stand up and be citizens.
Please address the council.
You want to laugh, but it's true that it's not all your fault. And there's crimes going on, and I every day fear for the lives of my nephews that like to hang out on Havana and Colfax and Dayton and Colfax, that one day I'm not going to see them, that one day I'm going to go to their funeral, and we need to come together. It is a great city. I came here to talk about illegal dumping and about the apartment complexes across Aurora not cleaning up after people that come to our city, the city of Aurora. They come out here to dump. It's like a free dumping ground. And it's like the same way with other stuff that's going on in the city of Aurora, that the citizens need to step up and we need to work together. We need to work together. We need to make sure on election days that people show up for the elections. Not a lot of people show up for municipal elections, but then they want to sit here and they want to crash you guys down. I stand with Ruben, I stand with Crystal, I stand with Allison, and it's hard to see them be attacked on a regular basis for what they stand for.
KDOT.
"81 days of pain and suffering, 81 days of not having a family member, 81 days of the disgusting and disrespect from most of the council members up here, except Krista Morella and Allison Coombs. So I applaud you on that. And thank you for standing with the people, and I appreciate you. But I will address the silent killer, who is the city manager of this great city. You've been complicit, extremely quiet. You've missed 2 meetings, and you've not even offered any type of condolence to the family, which is completely unacceptable and disappointing, because I've had multiple talks with you, and this is completely from what you had showed me out of your character. You're being your old boss right now, the one that sits in the back, because we all know the city of Aurora, we all know that the mayor doesn't have any fucking power. He's just a goddamn puppet. But you do have the power. Actually, you have more power than the mayor, because the police chief reports to you. You can hire and fire her. So, which means that you also have the power
to suggest firing for Officer Deke. And if you continue to be complicit, I will work towards making sure you resign from this position. So you either take action and be for this community, or you can go ahead and hand in your resignation today. That is your choice, because we gave that same choice to your old boss, and you see his ass ain't here. So, are you going to be on the right side of history? Or are you still going to be complicit and silent in your actions towards this city? Because we have not held you accountable. And it's time that you are held accountable. Shut up.
Tristan Hust.
One would think y'all would have learned after 2020 when we came up here for Elijah McClain. Here we are in 2024, and Aurora Police Department has managed to maintain or increase this level of brutality throughout the years. 81 days ago, Officer Michael Deke murdered one of our fellow Aurora community members, Kylan Lewis, as he complied with the different orders police barked at him. He held in his hand a device that I hold in mine now, a cell phone. One would be hard-pressed to think of anyone that doesn't have one of these and doesn't have it on hand. My question is this: if Kylan Lewis, an unarmed Auroran, can be shot and killed for simply existing with a mobile phone in his hand, how can you expect any Auroran to feel safe? How can you expect us to trust you or the criminals in blue at all? You already have a bad reputation. You're showing that you've earned it. Today, I am here to ask that the paid administrative leave stop for Michael Deke and have him terminated from his position. In addition, he needs to be charged with first-degree murder. Thanks.
Johnny Joe Gavin.
Good evening, council members. I am Johnny Joe Gavin Truant. I want to make clear, Mike Kaufman, I ask that you pay attention. I'm addressing all of the council, so please understand that decorum is a two-way street. You asked for decorum. You said that in order to hear all the speakers tonight, that it was conditional, that we had to abide by the decorum of this chamber. Yet for 2.5 months, 81 days, you have lacked the decorum to hear out a grieving family who the city that you represent lynched. You lacked the decorum to refrain from referring to the family as terrorists, the community member as terrorists. And yet you expect us to hold in our anger and our rage at this lynching to just 3 minutes, and you will deny hearing us out any other way. Decorum is a two-way street. I must ask that we all stand once again if we believe that Kylan Lewis should be alive. Jason, do you not believe in due process? Then why aren't you standing? Kylan was denied due process. He sat there, fixing his subwoofer in his car when an unmarked van came and 3 SWAT officers got up, surprised him, shouting contradictory orders, holding assault rifles. He was compliant. He, of course, panicked because out of an unmarked car out of nowhere, 3 SWAT officers get out and hold guns at him. And he holds his hands in the air, he grabs his cell phone, holds his hands in the air, and 8 seconds later, he is shot He was denied due process. He was murdered. And you do not believe he should be alive? You don't believe he should have gotten due process? Jason Batchelor, you are a white supremacist. You have made it clear by not standing with all of us, the community, and with God, to claim that no, we should have due process and we should not lynch members of our community. Mike Kaufman, you are a white supremacist. You lynched Kylan Lewis. Same with you, City Attorney. Shame.
KKK. Aaron Futrell. Aaron Futrell.
Just about.
I was going to read this about 2 weeks ago when my time was cut off because I'm upset, very upset at Miss Hancock. I respect you because my grandmother fought for you to sit up there. My grandmother fought for Angela Lawson to sit up there. My grandmother fought for Ruben Medina to sit up there. Anyone who represents diversity in Aurora, my grandmother fought for equality and for you to sit up there. And then for you to quote W.E. Du Bois and call us terrorists because all we wanted was justice for Kylan Lewis, that's insane. And then I decided I was not going to speak today. I was going to sit and listen, yield my time to the people out here who are grieving for Kylan Lewis. And then, Ms. Jurinsky, you said some very offensive things about some Venezuelan immigrants when my grandmother brought the sister cities here to the city of Aurora. So my answer to that is I'm going to read a poem by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I will be at the table when company comes. Nobody dares say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. We too are America. Let's not forget that when we're making comments to the media, because again, like the lawyer said 2 weeks ago, everything's recorded. Like everything is recorded that you say. And I know each and every one of you guys care about Aurora. I know I've had my differences with you, Ms. Jurinsky, and on social media, I've tried to call a truce, and I'm willing to sit down and talk to you, because our differences are political, not personal. But then you make it personal in my heart when you offend an entire class of people, an entire class of citizens. All we're asking is for justice for Kylan and justice for the community that we love and grew up in.
Mayor, council members, we've reached our 1 hour limit. We have 2 callers on the call-in line.
Mayor,
Councilmember Murillo.
make a motion to extend the time for the remaining 2 speakers.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilmember Murillo, second by Councilmember Medina to extend the time. Discussion.
Mayor, I believe that Kylan's mother is on the line, so I would like an opportunity to hear from her and the other individual.
Very well. Vote is required, is it not?
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes to extend public invited to be heard. And now we will go to the call-in line.
LaRonda, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for everybody listening. My comment is directed to the city manager. I am demanding this justice. I have been told that you are the person that can make this happen, that you can unemploy Michael Deeks as well as bring him up on charges and all these things that I'm asking for. I'm asking for justice for my son, Kylan Lewis, and I'm demanding it as well. I'm demanding that he be sentenced and he be sentenced to Department of Corrections, that he will never be able to work nowhere as an officer or anything else when it comes to protecting people. They say that time is of the essence. And with him still sitting at home, even though he cannot go nowhere, he's still sitting at home enjoying his family, enjoying his life, and being paid for it as well. That should not be. What should be is my son, Kylan Lewis, should be alive right now. And I should be talking to him and getting hugs and kisses and saying, I love you, Mom. I get no more of any of that. And you know, reality sets in all the time, especially now. And every time I hear his name by anybody, it brings back memories of what we shared. I would never see my son on this earth again. And it hurts. And I'm so angry the way that he died, because the officer had no right, Officer Michael Deek had no right of taking my son's life, period, especially in the heinous way that he did. And we don't have no set time as parents, as any loved one, of when these feelings going to submerge and reality kicks in that our loved one is not here no more. We cannot suppress our feelings, our anger, our cries, our tears. We cannot even set the stage for it. It just happens. The feelings submerged, that it happens, that tears just start flowing down my face because I don't have my son. So tired of Michael Deeks sitting at home with his family, and I'm without mine. I need justice to be served. So all the people that's listening to this podcast and everybody on that panel need to make a stand. City manager, make a stand. Do what you were sworn in to do. Do your job and fire Michael Deeks. And DA, charge him for this heinous crime that he has committed. Premeditated murder in the first degree. I demand justice now. We are 81 days in, and I refuse to keep going, and nothing is being done. I demand justice now. I don't want to hear no more that nothing nobody can do. I'm sick of hearing that.
LaRonda, you have reached your time.
And what you will do. Do the right thing. Fire him and sentence him to DOC. Thank you.
Christopher, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Hi there. Good evening. Yeah, I am deaf, and I'm speaking through a sign language interpreter. Can you hear the interpreter?
Yes.
Can you hear the interpreter? Okay. Thank you. Just want to verify before we started. Okay. I'm sorry for the delay because, like I said, I am deaf. I'm speaking through a sign language interpreter. So I am here, a citizen here of Aurora community, and I'm very aware of this that's going on, and feel like I have a strong connection with the city council, and I ask for, I don't see really any answer or accountability a responsibility that's been taken on with us whatsoever. So, that's what I would hope that we could all vote on, is just for some accountability. I agree with you all in the situation that's going on, absolutely. But, and then secondly,
housing, we're in a terrible situation housing-wise.
And the city needs help with some money and funding for this, because they are behind on the rent, and these people and can't get caught up, and the ones that they're trying to evict. And they're just, they just have not taken care of these people as they promised. And the city of Denver are not answering either. I mean, I've contacted them, and they're not answering my concerns. So between the Denver and the city of Aurora, they're not keeping their promises to help these people out with housings, with the houses and what they need here for their needs in the city. So we do need to come together and help with the situation that's going on right now, because it's not good. So I ask that the city to help. We need to help these people. I ask for the city council that we need your help. We need you to be accountable for both of these situations that we going on right now. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay. Concludes public invited to be heard.
Mayor, if I could. Let's start with a few things. So, KDOT, as always, thank you for the conversation. I will offer my condolences, as the mayor did a few weeks ago, to the family. Kylan's death was and is a tragedy. I am very sorry for your loss. Now I want to address some of the comments that were made tonight. So neither the city council nor myself have the ability to criminally charge an officer in this case. Under state law, that independent investigation is being done outside of the city of Aurora. There's a separate agencies that are investigating the criminal elements of this conduct, and they are making their recommendations to the district attorney. The district attorney will make a determination on any criminal charges. So no one in the city has any ability to influence either the timing or the outcomes of that investigation.
How's the resolution?
Again, the state law is being followed in this case. Similarly, as to Officer Deek's continued employment, we are following the requirements of the city charter that have provided those protections to Officer Deek. So my role in this is to ensure that the processes are followed so that when the determinations are made and I take any action, that I have not seen as prejudging it. I meant no disrespect in standing, but I have to ensure that any decisions that are ultimately made are beyond question, and I have not prejudged any of these matters. So I apologize if you took offense to my non-standing. I did not mean offense, but I have to ensure that I remain neutral, both in fact and appearance in this matter. So again, I understand. Thank you for your comments tonight. And again, thank you for your respect of the decorum tonight. Thank you for your communication. You were heard, and I'm sure this is not the last time we've heard you all.
Motion before us is the adoption of the agenda.
81 days.
Mayor, I move to approve the agenda.
Been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Zavonic.
Mayor Pro Tem Zavonic to adopt the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
81 days. 81 days. 81 days. 81 days.
Mayor, how would you like to vote?
81 days.
How do you vote?
81 days.
Oh, we gotta do that.
81 days.
Okay, passes. The question before us, a motion is order for the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 11B5. Motion is in order.
Motion to approve as stated.
It's moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by Councilmember Sandberg to approve the consent calendar, resolutions, and
No,
ordinances.
Mayor, I'm sorry, you missed the consent calendar for motions. It's just item 10C1.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Mayor, motion to approve item 10C1.
Okay. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem to approve consent calendar motions, item 10C1. Seconded by
Bergen.
Seconded by Councilmember Bergen. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions 11C1. Call for the question.
Mayor?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Hancock? The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Next question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances. Item number 11A1 to 11B5. Motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve items 11A1 through 11B5.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Mayor, second.
Seconded by Councilmember Lawson to approve the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances 11A1 to 11B5.
Mayor, we have an individual who wants to speak on 11B5.
Very well.
Eric Shanholzer?
It's going to take me longer to get down there to say what I wanted to say. And I emailed it to you guys last time, I think. Hello again. Long time no see. All right, so whereas the definition of infringed has not changed since 1781, and the Supreme Court and the rules of grammar clearly state that the second clause of the Second Amendment is an independent clause, making the right to keep and bear arms an individual right. And the first clause of the Second Amendment refers to the whole of the people, that is the same people referred to in the preamble, we the people. Therefore, Colorado Senate Bill 131 is plainly unconstitutional, and the ordinance created by 11B5 and before should, or at least should not be, or try that again, is, or at least should be unnecessary, at least as far as I interpret it. Thank you.
So back to the main motion. Okay. Further discussion? Who moves it?
Councilmember Zvonek motioned and Councilmember Lawson seconded.
Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 11B5.
The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances.
Clerk, now please read the title to 13A.
Item 13A is introduction of ordinance 2024-37, authorizing the Chief Information Technology Officer to acquire certain tangible and intangible information technology property, either by purchase or pursuant to the terms of lease purchase agreements to be entered into between the city and lease investors, vendors, or the Aurora Capital Leasing Corporation, each as lessor, authorizing officials of the city to take all action necessary to carry out the transactions contemplated hereby.
A brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Scott Newman, the Chief Information Officer for the city. This is our third annual renewal of this ordinance. 3 years ago, it was advised by city attorneys, finance, and outside bond counsel that we pursue an authorizing ordinance each year annually on an annual basis for IT to be able to enter into lease purchase agreements for the purchase of both tangible assets such as hardware as well as intangible assets such as software. So this ordinance will authorize us to pursue that opportunity for the remainder of, well, for the next 12 calendar months.
Questions to staff? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve 13A.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 13A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of 13A.
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-37.
Reports. Myself, Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, and Councilmember Gardner, along with staff from the Fitzsimmons Innovation Community, and City Manager Jason Batchelor, and I think Janine Rustad from Planning, will be going to Boston tomorrow and back on Thursday for purposes of looking at two very successful medical research campuses and the governance and what they've done to move that process forward for bioscience research so that we can take that knowledge to the Anschutz Medical Campus, the Fitzsimmons Innovation Community, to see how we can bring bioscience research to the city of Aurora. And so I look forward to that. Councilmember Gardner.
Thanks, Mayor. Just let everybody know, Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek and myself will be hosting the at-large town hall August 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Central Rec Center. That's all for me.
Councilmember Jurenski.
No report.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
No report.
Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. Just that my town hall is next Thursday, the 22nd, at the MLK Library. And I actually would just like to uplift the concerns that we heard about the Nome Street building being condemned, and would continue to ask to work with the city manager to potentially postpone that condemnation to allow the families more time to be able to find homes. I think no one is arguing that the condition of that building is safe for anyone to inhabit, so I really appreciate the attention to the safety of our team and the multi-departmental approach to really support folks. I know of a lot of nonprofit organizations and other types of organizations that have come to Rapid Aid only having less than a week to rehome folks, and I think they're doing everything that they can, and I just want to continue to work with the city manager and ask that we continue to allow them to do that work and help residents, frankly, just find where they're going to go next. There's a lot of impacted families, and we heard the trauma that some of them have experienced, being issued that notice on the first day of school, and the frenzy that has created in the last week. So, and I hope I can work with our city staff and council on addressing problematic landlords like the one that owns this building that has left it in such poor and dire conditions. It's not acceptable. Nobody should be able to live in property like that, and I hope that we can continue to hold these landlords accountable for the conditions of their property, and then frankly us having to find an emergency response for displaced residents when people aren't taking care of their properties in the right way. So thank you.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to Aurora 8 for winning a couple more Emmy Awards in the last month, I believe that was, for the little piano prodigy Jude Kofi. That's a really heartwarming story. My next three topics are good community building events. I went to the Taste of Ethiopia. That was, I think you were there, Mayor. Taste of Ethiopia. Yeah. Good food, great people. National Night Out, bringing the cops and the community together. I went to the Adonia neighborhood. They set the bar high. They do a fantastic job, very well organized. And lastly, I did a little volunteer work with the school resource officer, gathering of snacks and cup of noodles and all kinds of stuff they put in their offices to help build relationship with kids as kids visit in high schools their SRO offices. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. I went out to the National Night Out as well in Northwest Aurora. They're at MLK Library, which went really well. I think they saw about 500 people there, that location. My town hall tomorrow is at the Central Library. We'll be talking about the Innovation Campus and the Highline Conservatory. Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock?
Thank you, Mayor. We have launched the Together We Keep Aurora Beautiful campaign. It is live now. You can go to auroragov.org/together. Here are some great ideas to help you as a community get involved. You can organize a neighborhood event, plan a beautification project, participate in community cleanup, volunteer to keep our natural areas clean, sign up to maintain community gardens, plant trees and flowers. And I know that we've started off for the fall, but it's still, we have opportunities to keep our city beautiful all year long. And as stakeholders and residents of our community, it's all in our hands to help keep our city beautiful. And there, we are suspending some licensing and permitting to help you facilitate really getting to know your neighbors and to help keep our city beautiful block by block. We'd love for you to, as you get together and organize these events, to post on our social media platforms so everybody can see how block by block we're keeping our neighborhoods beautiful. And if you'd like myself, or I'm even going to throw out our other council members, to come out and to your individual neighborhoods if you're doing something really fantastic. We're about keeping our city beautiful, and the way we do that is if we all get involved. So I encourage you to go to auroragov.org/together and get involved today. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen?
Sorry, I'm falling asleep over here.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it's.
Councilmember Lawson.
I'll forgive you this time,
Will you ever
Mayor?
forgive me? I don't know.
Oh, no.
Ouch.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So my legislative update, there's a multitude of bills that go into effect today from the Colorado legislative session, including topics such as the Affordable Housing Bill, House Bill 241175, local government's right to property for affordable housing, the utility relocation right-of-way, House Bill 241266, local government utility relocation and right-of-way, landscaping practices, which is Senate Bill 24005, and motorcycle lane filtering, Senate Bill 24079. There's a potential Colorado legislative special session that may be coming to address property tax issues facing the state. New multi-agency regulatory initiatives from the federal government have been unveiled to make it easier for consumers to cancel subscriptions, get refunds, and other actions online, labeled the Time is Monday initiative. I will be having my Ward 5 Town Hall on August 20th, along with Councilmember Durinsky. It will be at the Central Rec Center from 6:30 to 8. We will be talking about transportation planning that's happening in Ward 5. We'll be giving the general updates and getting questions from our residents. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended National Night Out at Eastern Hills Community Church, and it started pouring down rain on us. And then I headed off to Fairfield Village, and they had their first time National Night Out in their community. It was well attended. Been busy with meetings with staff on different issues, constituents. Of course, I had my E470 board meeting, and then we had a ribbon cutting for the central maintenance facility, and also attended the opioid Region 9 board meeting as well.
Okay. Well, let me just say, for the viewers out there, I post on Facebook quite a bit about the activities that I'm doing and positions that I've taken. And so it's just Mike Kaufman, Mayor, Facebook, or just Mike Kaufman at Facebook will probably get you there. You don't have to be on Facebook to be able to access that. With seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.